What's up, everybody? Welcome to another WWE pay-per-view prediction show. We got WWE Fastlane. That'll be this Sunday, March 21st, streaming live on both the WWE Network and the Peacock Network. So this will be the last WWE Network pay-per-view and the first Peacock Network pay-per-view. So it'll be interesting to see how that migration happens. Not to get on that topic before we get into a bunch of matches that we can predict. I got to be honest, I'm not super thrilled about the Peacock deal as much as I was when it initially came through. Because when I initially saw it coming through, saw that price tag of $4.99, I said, awesome, this will be cool. It'll be cheaper. It's the same stuff. Sure, there will be commercials, but hey, $4.99 is a lot better than $9.99. And apparently we get what we pay for. Some of the things that I've seen about this migration aren't exactly things that I'm thrilled with, including the fact that the matches won't be time-stamped. For those of you that use the network to go back and to watch older matches like I do, that is a definitely going to be a missed feature. So hopefully they bring that back in. News has also basically come out that the migration will take basically throughout the summer, and that by SummerSlam, most of the content should be back up there. So it'll be interesting to see how this migration goes. Hopefully everything runs smoothly. I don't ever want bad things to happen, but we'll see how all that goes. I'll be honest, I probably will have both streams pulled up initially just to see how things work differently if they do, because I do have access to both of them currently still. So, but like I said, we've got WWE Fastlane this Sunday. We've got a 6-match card as of right now. They tend to add another match typically after SmackDown on Fridays. Again, these cards are always subject to change. There is a match that is on the card that I'm going to predict that when I just checked WWE's website a few minutes ago, this match was actually not on the official card that was on there, but I know they've talked about it on the show. So I'm expecting the match to happen. I just don't know why it's not listed on the actual WWE pay-per-view website. And that match is the Braun Strowman and Shane McMahon match. We'll get into that one. I will predict that one. I don't know why it's not on WWE's website. So if that match gets pulled, I wouldn't be surprised if they were pulling it for WrestleMania or something like that. So again, before we get into predictions, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram at AngryBeaver1127. Give the YouTube channel a subscribe if you would. Most likely you'd probably see this come through. If you're not a subscriber, you'd probably see this come through on Twitter. So if you see that, give it a retweet, give it a like, all that stuff. I really appreciate the interaction that I get from you guys. So again, leave comments, leave the thumbs up on the video. I really do appreciate that stuff. It really does help. And again, tap that bell for notifications as well, because apparently some of those notifications haven't been going through very well recently. So if YouTube would stop holding me down, you guys can get those notifications too. So again, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Twitter's really going to be the better follow. But subscribe to the channel, all that basic stuff. It really does help. It really does matter. And as I've put in the comments on these videos the last couple times, you can typically catch me live on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time. You can catch me on Throwback's channel, the Wicked Crazy Pinfall Show. Basically, it's just a bunch of random wrestling fans just kind of talking about the week in wrestling. And then we do talk about some other, non-wrestling content as well. So if you ever want to get a chance to have some live interaction, follow Throwback's channel as well. I will leave the description and the link to his channel in the description for this video below as well. So again, check us out on Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. But again, we've got WWE Fastlane. We've got 6 matches to predict. So let's jump right into it. Like I said, this is a match that is not actually on WWE's website right now for some reason, but they have advertised it. They've talked about it. Obviously, you see they have the advertisement right here as well. So this is a match that has been brewing for a couple of weeks, and it's not really been built that well. It's basically been Braun saying, "I'm not stupid," and Shane McMahon doing a lot of roundabout ways of saying, "You're not stupid, but you're actually stupid." This has been a really bad build. I've not been a big fan of how they've built this, but knowing the way Shane McMahon matches typically work, I'm not totally down on this one. We did see Braun Strowman recently get slimed. I hope that comes back at some point. Got a little Nickelodeon influence there. So I don't know if they just had extra slime left over from the Kids' Choice Awards and they were in the area, or if this is something that was planned. It was a real weird thing, but we've seen them throw dog food on people. We've seen them throw feces on people. Fine. That's kind of a fun spot, in my opinion. Uh, when it comes to this match, though, I think as much as some people might not want to see two matches like this, I think you might honestly be using this to build to a to a WrestleMania match, because we know that they're going to be at Raymond James Stadium, uh, and there's a lot of things that you can do in that stadium that could be fun spots. So I'm actually going to predict that this match goes to Shane McMahon. I'm going to predict that he's going to win, but I predict that he will do it in that kind of sneaky way where he does something cheap and it makes Braun mad, and then you have a reason to extend it into WrestleMania. Not that it needs two matches, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see that kind of get one to do another one type of thing. Uh, so I'm going to predict Shane McMahon to win this one, and my hope is that when that happens, that revenge is sought at WrestleMania, and that we see some crazy spot where Braun throws Shane McMahon off of the pirate ship or something. And I know Kevin Owens has said that that's his spot, but you got a 2-night card. You can do it both nights. I would like to see Shane McMahon get thrown off of the top of the pirate ship into a gigantic pool of slime. I think that would be a funny way to bring that all full circle. And again, Shane McMahon's matches, they're always spot heavy with some fun spots. As much as he's not a professional wrestler in the truest sense of the word, he is at least a guy that is known for doing those crazy high spots every once in a while. And I think this is a cool spot where he can do that. So I'm going to go with Shane McMahon actually to win this one, because, like I said, I think you're building to something else at WrestleMania. You got Drew McIntyre is going to take on Sheamus. You got nothing more than a just good old fashioned blood feud here. These two guys have been friends for a long time, but they're both that kind of grizzled type of guys that like to fight. I don't like how this is built as far as like the way some of these wins and losses have gone. This is a match that to me would have made a lot of sense if you would have done it as a number one contenders match, because we've seen Sheamus and Drew fight each other a couple times in the last few weeks, including that hilarious stair spot that they had on Raw about a week ago. I don't like the fact that this is just a match just to do a match, because these are guys that are in the title picture. Drew already has his match at WrestleMania for the WWE title against Bobby Lashley. So I think because of that, I think it's pretty sure that Drew's winning this. But I think that it would have been a smarter idea for them to do Sheamus versus Drew, but it's a number one contenders match, because then you're at least giving it something, because we've already seen these guys fight just because they're mad at each other a couple of times. Do you really need another one for it to be just a 4-0 fight on a pay-per-view? If you're going to do it as just another match, put it on Raw. Right? But I think, like I said, if it's the smart way to build this, then I think you have Drew McIntyre win this. The only way that I see Sheamus winning this is if they try to do something where you try to set up for some kind of a triple threat between both of these guys and Bobby Lashley at WrestleMania. I don't exactly want to see that. I would love to just see Drew and Bobby one-on-one go at it at WrestleMania. But the way WWE tends to book stuff, it won't surprise me if Sheamus wins this and then gets a quote-unquote legitimate gripe that he's not in that match because he just beat the guy who's going for the title. We've got a couple weeks before WrestleMania, so I think this is going to be a stepping stone in that story. But I'm hoping that they do the smart thing and that they just have Drew win it. He gets his build with Bobby Lashley. They can do that match at WrestleMania. And as I've heard some other people suggest, when it comes to that WrestleMania match, I know we're not predicting WrestleMania yet. I think what you probably will see at WrestleMania with Drew and with Bobby is that Vince basically makes the decision on who wins based on the crowd pop. Personally, I would hope that Bobby Lashley retains at WrestleMania. I think that he deserves it based on how he's been actually built really well over the last year. But again, that's a prediction for another show. So for this match, like I said, I'm going to go with Drew to beat Sheamus because that's the smart choice. Doesn't mean that it'll be the WWE choice, but that's where I think that we're going to go. You got Alexa Bliss against Randy Orton. I have no idea what this match is supposed to look like. I have no idea if it's cinematic or if it's in ring or what they're doing here. So what I think will happen is that you'll probably see this start in the ring, have us believing that, oh my gosh, are they really going to do Randy Orton against Alexa Bliss in a straight up match? And then I think you'll see some theatrics added in where the lights go out, Alexa starts lighting matches, she starts laughing, and Randy starts coughing up motor oil again and all that stuff. Uh, and so what I think would probably make sense to me is this is obviously building to something where Bray returns. So I think what you're probably going to see is that match gets started, you get some theatrics, you get some smoke and mirrors here, and then all of a sudden the Fiend shows up. And I'm hoping that it's not just the same exact edition of Fiend. I hope that there's something different, because otherwise he's been gone for a long time for no real reason. Um, so what I'm kind of hoping is that Alexa does some crazy shenanigans and this match goes very quick. I don't want this taking more than 5 minutes, to be honest. Something happens real quick where, Bray grabs Randy, pulls him to hell or whatever. And then when WrestleMania rolls around, that's when you can do, and again, not to get this into the WrestleMania predictions too much, but to get Randy and Bray in a Firefly Funhouse match again, because we did see one of those last year with Bray and with Cena. I think that'd be another cool use of Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt, would be to do one of those, because as we saw last year, Cena had a lot of his career kind of thrown in his face, and Randy Orton certainly has plenty of things that can be thrown in his face that way too. And then your WrestleMania match is essentially Randy Orton trying to escape from the Funhouse because Alexa and Bray dragged him there. And I think there's a lot of story that you can tell with that. This is a story that's gone on for a long, long time, and I hope that they are in the processes of wrapping it up. But knowing that Bray Wyatt's got to be around the corner somewhere makes me believe that this won't be the ending of it. I'm going to go with Alexa Bliss to actually take the win here, because I think she's going to do something that's going to cause some kind of chaos here. And I honestly think you're going to get kind of a no finish, but I think the way that they're telling the story, it wouldn't surprise me if Alexa, quote unquote, wins this by pulling him somewhere, getting him lost in the funhouse playground, whatever we're calling it. This is a match that's going to be kind of weird to see. And again, I hope that it's not too long, but I hope that all it really is doing is just propelling that Bray story. And I hope that they do it very quick and efficiently. You got the Intercontinental Championship on the line. You've got the champion Big E is going to take on Apollo Crews, who has found a little bit of a new sense of purpose, a new identity. One that has honestly been one that I wasn't super clear on what the direction was with this. And I'll be honest, I'm not super well versed in the cultural elements of what Apollo is talking about well enough to really have a clear opinion on this. So I will basically say that I hope that this is a story that Apollo is getting to tell the way he wants to tell it. And I hope that he's allowed to continue to tell it his way, because I think what he's trying to do can be a very cool story. I just hope that it doesn't get too many other cooks in the kitchen, if you will. I hope that Apollo gets to tell the story his way. And I think doing this match with Big E is a good way to kind of get that going. Big E has had a run since right after Christmas. So he's going on about 3 months of being the champion. I think that's been a good reign. I think that he's more than willing and more than deserving of an extended run. To me, you can run Big E as champion for nearly a year, but if they are trying to set up something else down the road for him, you eventually have to find a way to get that belt off of him. And I don't like the idea of lose a title to go after a different title. I don't think that typically works very well, but I think you can do something here where Big E can lose this title and still look okay, but making Apollo look as dominant as they're trying to do with him right now anyway. So I'm going to go with a little bit of an upset pick here, and I'm going to pick Apollo Crews. I know that they tend to not book him the greatest when they put him on his rise. We saw last year with the U.S. title and all the stuff that led to that. It wasn't great because we saw 13 matches between him and the Hurt Business. I don't want to see anything like that again, and I don't think that we will. But we have already seen Big E and Apollo a couple of times, and Big E has even said, dude, go away, I've beaten you already. But when you have Apollo throw stairs at him, obviously that's going to change the story a little bit. So I'm going to go with Apollo Crews to win this one. And I hope that Big E gets to do something really great after. I wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of a WrestleMania rematch or something to that effect. Again, I'm going to go with Apollo Crews here to win, but I want to make it very clear that this is nothing against Big E. I love Big E. I think he's fantastic. I just wonder what they have for Big E later on, and I'm wondering if it's a get the title off of him now, you can rebuild him up real quick, and then he can go after, maybe he goes after Roman, because Roman's going to need a SummerSlam opponent, and it obviously isn't going to be Edge because you're about to do that at WrestleMania. So again, I'm going to go with Apollo Crews to be your winner here. So new Intercontinental Champion heading into WrestleMania, and again, that can be a fun story there too. A rematch of a pay-per-view match that didn't make any sense the first time, and it doesn't make any sense the second time. You have the Women's Tag Team Championships on the line. Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, been building for a WrestleMania match since Royal Rumble. How have they been building that? With a nonsensical attempt at the tag team titles. I don't know why we're doing this again. I don't like it because what's the upside? Either you're going to pin a champion or you're going to pin the person competing for the championship at WrestleMania, or you're going to put titles on people who are about to fight at WrestleMania. I don't like this at all. I don't think that this makes any sense. I don't think that it makes Sasha or Bianca look very good. I don't think that it's beneficial to this story that they could be telling right now. So I do have to say that while I'm not excited for this match, I also am going to predict that Bianca and Sasha Banks win the tag team titles, because then it creates more friction as they lead into WrestleMania, because I'm sure they'll do something where it's, oh, you got to defend your tag titles one night and then you've got to fight each other the next night. I really am not thrilled with how they've done this, but seeing the writing on the wall here, if they're going to do this match for a second time, I imagine that there's a reason for it. And while the reason's not one that I agree with and one that I don't even think is very good, I think that's the direction that they're going. So I think you're going to see probably Shayna Baszler take the pin, which will also irritate me. But so then they can protect Nia Jax so that Nia can then go after whoever is Nia can go after the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania. And then Shayna's probably just sitting there doing nothing. And that is an absolute travesty. So again, not a big fan of how they built this one. I don't think it's been very intelligent, but I do think that Banks and Belair are going to probably take your tag team titles, and then we'll see how they go from there. So new champs again, but again, you can hear how thrilled I am about that. Universal Championship is on the line. You've got Daniel Bryan taking on your Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. Based on what will happen on Friday SmackDown, you will either have Edge or Jey Uso as a guest enforcer. That will be determined on SmackDown on Friday this week. Edge and Jey Uso are going to have a match. The winner gets to be a special guest enforcer. I don't really know who I think is going to win that one. It wouldn't surprise me if Edge was the special guest enforcer, because they keep making Jey take pins, and the idea of Edge being right there while Roman is fighting against Daniel Bryan, who there seems to be kind of a triple threat nature to this that might be kind of at play here. And again, I don't love that, because Edge won the WrestleMania, or he won the Royal Rumble match for a shot at a title at WrestleMania. And I think that he deserves to be able to do that in a one-on-one match. But the idea of Edge, Daniel Bryan, and Roman Reigns in a match is something that does sound fun. So I think it's pretty clear to me that you're going to see Roman Reigns win this one. I don't see any reason why Daniel Bryan is going to take the title off of him, unless they have a real good card up their sleeve that they've been hiding. And the only card that they could be hiding would be if The Rock is actually ready for Roman and you want to do a just head of the table type of deal. But again, I don't think that you've got enough time to really tell that story the way that it should be told. So I'm going to say that Roman retains his title. Daniel Bryan is going to do what Daniel Bryan does, and he's going to look like a fantastic professional. And as a result, he's going to look real, real good. But that'll set up Roman and Edge at WrestleMania, and I think we'll see some fun stuff with that as well. So again, I don't think it's a surprise to anybody. You're going to see Roman Reigns beat Daniel Bryan here, and if it goes the other way, expect Twitter to explode. So speaking of Twitter, follow me on there at Angry Beaver 1127. Follow me on Instagram too. Again, I don't make too many Instagram posts, so the Twitter is going to be the better follow. So if you would be so kind, like I said at the beginning, give the video a subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, all that good stuff. Retweet the video if you see it on Twitter. But again, WWE Fastlane, that'll be this Sunday, March 21st, starting at 7 p.m. on the WWE Network. So hopefully you get a chance to check this one out. Like I said, this will be the last one on the WWE Network and the first one on the Peacock Network. So hopefully your transition with those networks goes smoothly if you've got them both. And again, thank you so very much for watching. I really do appreciate all of you guys that have been commenting and messaging me and on Twitter and all that stuff. It really does make this stuff all worth it. And again, this is all something that I just do because I think it's fun, but it is nice to see other people appreciating that and taking the time to listen, because again, I am just one random wrestling fan. I don't know anything else that anybody else doesn't already have access to that same level of knowledge. But again, I do appreciate those of you that have left comments, have retweeted, have all that stuff. So again, thank you so very much for watching. Hopefully you get a chance to enjoy Fastlane this weekend. Until next time, we are out.